All right, so I'm calling the meeting to order. It is 6:02. Josh, where are the meeting minutes from January 25th? Did you already send those out?
So that was when I was gone. Did you have somebody that does the meeting minutes? Did you elect a secretary? Or did you have one of the town?
There were only 3 of us at the time, Josh.
Okay, so what I would recommend is, I'm gonna make note of it, recommend to put it on the next agenda, and I can go back, watch the recording and do the minutes for you guys. And then eventually you will want to get a secretary together so that they can take the minutes and then submit everything as far as the agenda, minutes, things like that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
I guess we'll postpone the approval of the minutes since we don't have them for January 25th. It was a pretty quick meeting. We were just finalizing grants.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think there's going to be any controversies
Okay.
or corrections. All right, does anybody want to take minutes for today?
Don't all say hi. Hi, stand up. Right.
Nobody? So we're gonna have to have minutes be done post recording?
If it's being recorded, wasn't there somebody in town hall that recorded the minutes on the 25th for us?
Yes, that's what Josh was just saying. He'll have
Yeah.
to go back and look at the recording.
I can do today's minutes too. And once you guys get more members and everything, not a problem.
Okay, and I sent you a message, or I sent Hanoko a message. We have a member who's on the list who's never shown up, never responded to an email.
Okay.
Or anything. So what happens?
So we can remove members that haven't been to 3 meetings.
It's been more than 3.
Okay, and which member was that?
I always blank out on her name. It's not one of us here and it's not Nora. It's the other one.
Manning, was it last name? Manning?
Yes, Jessica Manning.
Jessica Manning, yeah.
Okay,
She's never responded to anything.
let me pull you guys up here.
I believe her term expires next month. And now that we have Beth, we're not in a rush to try and get another person.
So let me just say this, Tina.
Yeah.
We can definitely take her off. That puts you down to 5 members though. And if we take that member off and you only have 5 members and somebody else has to leave for any reason, then you no longer have quorum. Does that make sense?
So she's just going to be a placeholder.
Placeholder until we can get somebody else
Yeah.
on here. Yeah, I think I honestly, with the amount of effort we had to get together to, get the cultural council back in force, I'd recommend just leaving it as is. If we
So
can
should we put out
volunteer.
the all call that we are looking for another member?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys would like us to get
Because the vacancy is
advertisement out-
not listed. There is no vacancy listed on the town website, although Parks and Rec did.
Yeah, so with the cultural council, I believe
We can have 22.
yeah, so yeah, what we don't want to do is the way it's structured is we don't want to say that there's 22 members and that there's that many vacancies. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because then we
But
would
there should
have,
always be a vacancy listed on the town website.
well, then again, that extends out the number of members that need to be on the committee.
No one's rushing to do it. I mean,
No one's rushing to
but
do
if
it.
nobody knows there's an opening, they'll never apply.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll work on getting some language on the cultural council's page, just showing that there's constantly vacancies open.
And
And
that
then
we can
once-
go to 22, right?
Yeah, and once we get somebody on, then we can, work at removing Jessica Manning.
And I don't know where Nora is tonight. Nora
Okay.
Tar.
Yeah, did she not respond to any of the emails?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
She's the one who sent out the acceptance letters to everyone, but that is,
Yeah, that's right. I did reach out to her because somebody had a question on the address that was sent out, so. And I didn't hear back from her either, so I'll double check her contact information.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else I can do for you guys?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, no
All
problem.
right,
Have a good
so-
meeting, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Diane, I
you.
see that you're on. Did you have any public comment? I assume that's Diane Raza from One Book, One Community. Oh, well,
I think
Diane,
I think she's muted, I think.
yeah, but she should be able to hear us.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
We just can't hear her. All right, I guess we're gonna pass on the public comment. All right, so on to new business. The Beth, Beth, welcome to the committee.
Thank you.
Andrew, Svet, someday show your face,
Beth.
Svet, so she'll know who you
Yeah.
are.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
nice
So
to meet
it's been
you.
Andrew, Svet, and I that did pretty much what's been happening. Thank the Lord, they were willing to step up. So we're thrilled to have you, Beth. And anyway, so I shared with Beth, I did some research about what area cultural councils are doing in terms of who they're giving grants to, what their guidelines look like, you know, all that sort of thing. And one of the things that was kind of cool, I think it was Easton, has a Facebook page specifically for the cultural council. Now, I don't know if we want to go that route, but that would be a way to let people know the different opportunities and the different programs. And, you know, like that art show that the high school did, we could have posted that on the Facebook page and hopefully gotten more people to go see that. Does anybody have any interest in running a Facebook page? Thinks we need a Facebook page?
I think it's a good idea.
Are you volunteering, Svet?
I can try to help.
What was that?
I can try to help and take a look at it. And as long as there's certain guidelines that they send me from the town, I know that they have brand standards and certain community guidelines about, let's say, what can be posted and what can't. I've run it for hotels before, as far as
Oh,
Facebook,
awesome.
Instagram, and kind of like the social media side. But I just need to get, they usually have a package with guidelines and rules and regulations and stuff, because social media, as you know, is already so complicated itself. So just as you said, we want to make the best of it and use it to our advantage.
So Svet, am I hearing you volunteer that you're going to look into doing that? Either
Yes, yeah,
Facebook and or Instagram?
Probably Facebook would be easier and more accessible for the demographics of the town. Instagram is more like, I don't know, like more kind of like the millennial site, you know?
Yeah, I don't use Instagram that much.
Yeah. So who should I contact regarding that? Like, would it be Josh or like?
Well, Josh is our liaison, so I would start with him
Yes.
and then have him. I mean, do other committees have Facebook pages? Like, does Little League or?
Yeah, let me do some research and find
Okay.
maybe Hanako
But
would.
I thought that was kind of an interesting concept that Easton is doing it that way. And they get a lot less money from the state than we do. So they're much more aggressive in trying to get people to apply and.
Yeah, I'll
think
check
it
them
makes
out. You
Okay.
say they're on
And
Facebook?
Svet, once it gets set up, I'm more than happy to co-administer it with you and help post things and whatever, you know.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Just so you guys know, I just wanted to share today in the meeting as well. Just really quickly, I don't want to take a lot of the time, but I've kind of like left my employment all the way back in March, so I've been looking for something else. And in the meantime, I'm still here in the Bridgewater area, but I don't know how long that would last. So I will make sure that obviously I communicate in professional manner if I decide to relocate for work. But at the moment I'm here, and again, I do apologize. I've been kind of like a little, struggling the last few months without work, and there's some family matters that have happened. So I do apologize. I haven't been able to be as involved as I would like to. But again, kudos to all of you guys for, getting involved and stepping up. And I think we're doing great, and looking at all these events and emails that we have seeing about the great events and the great organizations. Without us, they wouldn't have been kind of possible. So it's a moment of pride there too, you know. But I'll keep you guys posted what's happening around.
Okay.
So, but I can get involved maybe with some research on Facebook and social media for the cultural council.
That would be great.
Thank you, Sven.
You're welcome.
All right, so on to B, the festivals and projects. I sent that on to Rebecca, who does the Juneteenth, and hoping, and it looks like you can apply for those now. So I'm hoping that people will get decisions on those. That's not us. We don't decide on that. It's the mass that does. And hopefully those people will get their funding ahead of when they apply for the individual local cultural councils. So
What's the cutoff date for that?
they just sent us an email. Do you guys get all the emails from the MCC?
Yeah,
Or is it-
Tina,
Yeah.
I printed it out. It says the deadline to apply is June 8th.
Then that's way ahead.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, so we should encourage anybody who is interested in doing any of those larger projects to apply for that. And it doesn't sound like there's a limit, like we can have several people within Bridgewater that get that grant.
Oh, so it's more than 2,500 then. It's per.
No, it's 2,500, but you know,
Total.
Juneteenth can get it, Music Alley can get it. Beth, if you've got some kind of a program you're thinking you'd like to encourage to apply for that, I don't think they limit the numbers to a particular number per town.
Okay.
All right.
All right, the other
And
thing is they've been,
is there a separate application for that? Or,
yes,
yeah, okay.
and it would be on the MCC website. So I posted on Bridgewater Residents today, I cut and pasted that email.
Yeah, I
And
saw that.
then Pam Pace responded to me, how do we apply? So I gave her the MCC link.
Yep.
Anyway, so hopefully people saw that Facebook posting that I put on and will respond.
You put it on the Bridgewater residents, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good way to reach a lot of the
Yeah,
people in
oh,
town.
definitely.
All right,
Thank you.
so go ahead, Andy.
Until we get ours up,
Correct.
then we could just.
Well,
put
there's
it
a
in.
deadline on this one. That's why I
No, I
wanted to
know
post
that.
it.
Yeah, but in the
Yeah.
future, once we have a Facebook page, we'll be able to put it on.
I think we should, if Svet can get it together in time, I would like to have it up and running before our individual local cultural council grant
Yeah.
deadline begins.
Yeah, should be pretty straightforward. Again, I'll reach out to Josh immediately after the meeting. I'll send him an email, and I'll
Okay.
follow up with you guys sometime probably this week.
Okay. All right, so another thing, when I was looking at the MCC, they have something called youth outreach. I don't know if that's something we want to try to do or just.
What is that?
So we would be doing, trying to get young people to join our council. Potentially. And then doing programs specifically with them involved. I think with this our first year, we can sort of let that go and
Yeah.
maybe. But I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so the other thing is the Star Residencies, also on the MCC, has nothing to do with us. But I was just curious to see all the cool things that the council, the Mass Cultural Council has available for people. So we could encourage an artist to come and stay for a week and do classes or something like that. I believe that's what the Star Residency is about.
Oh,
But
that's
again,
nice.
Facebook could advertise that for people.
Yeah, definitely. We need to leverage that.
And then the other cool thing is the card to culture. So anyone who gets food stamps, EBT cards, can get free or reduced admissions to a lot of the museums in Boston area or whatever. So each individual museum would say to MCC, we will give a discount to anybody who shows their EBT card. And I don't know if anybody knows that that's a possibility. It's kind of cool.
I had no idea myself. Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
either.
Right, so that's again, something else our Facebook page could do to encourage people to take advantage of the things that are available.
Absolutely.
And lastly, under new business, we have the opportunity, because we put so much money into our admin, to put together a program ourselves.
Yep.
So has anybody been thinking about anything? I know Beth had reached out to someone at the college.
Yeah, I'll talk to, I just mentioned it to her briefly, like last time I saw her in March. So
Right,
I will mention it again. Would it have to be a new program? Because they are like
it doesn't have to be. Mm-mm.
so it's because I don't know where they get their funding already for things they do in the community. So I work part-time for the Center for the Advancement of STEM Education at BSU. And we do, what I do is we're doing teaching kids that come on field trips to do labs, but they do a lot of community outreach things. Like I know there's some event they're doing on May 20th that's at BSU for the community. They've done like kind of scavenger hunt things for people in the community. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a new program. You're saying?
No, it does not. And
Okay.
you know what might be kind of cool is to do like an Earth Day program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll mention it to my boss
Okay.
again. to
All right,
Kim.
so I'm not absolutely certain about this. I would have to check with Hanoko, but do we need to go through the same process? I don't think we do. We don't have to apply to a grant to ourselves. We can just say we're going to fund it from the
I
ad
think
money.
I think we can take the money out of the account and just, as long as we account for it. It
Right.
shouldn't be a problem.
So there's really no application, Beth, is what I'm
No.
getting at. If we as a committee decide we want to fund it, we can do that without them actually applying.
exactly. As long as we all.
Oh,
As long-
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had to set money aside because we didn't spend it all.
yes.
So I think there's over 1,000 in there.
There's 1,200 and I think she said $1,280 is the total right now.
Right.
That we didn't allocate.
Okay.
So we won't be getting anything more until what, September, October will,
July 1st.
oh yeah, but won't we know?
We'll know July 1st what our
July 1st,
allocation
okay.
is, I think.
Yeah,
But there's no rush for this, for
No.
any, okay,
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, there's no deadline for us doing our own program.
got it.
So that kind of gives you a little bit of sigh of relief. No rush.
Okay.
All right, any other new business anyone wants to bring up?
no,
All right, so back to the old business. So the grants, finally, poor Andy.
if they finally poured in, I see, huh?
It was ridiculous. A lot of
Yeah.
people didn't read the email. They
No,
thought they had to wait to submit receipts, and they've been doing the grant ahead of time for a couple of years now.
I was speaking to several groups, including Plymouth, Brockton, and West Bridgewater, and what they do is they have the group go and do their thing and then submit the
Right.
amount. We
Right.
are one of the only groups that do it the way we do it, but it's much easier for us to do it this way.
Right.
You know, I think
Um,
we should continue with what we're doing.
Definitely.
If they can't read, we've got to put it on the note on the application that.
West Bridgewater does direct grants.
Yep.
Can you explain to
And-
me what you're talking about, like when you're talking about people not reading the email?
Okay, so in the past, you had to have your program. You would submit your receipts and then you would get paid.
Okay,
So you put your own money up front to put the program together. Bridgewater, along with East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater, all do
Yeah.
direct grants. So once you get accepted, you get the money.
before you've done the program.
Exactly. So we've
Okay.
dispersed all of our money already. And now we're just waiting for them to do their programs. And then they have to submit to us a final report
Okay,
when they're done. And I think we need to be on our toes about those final reports, because I'm not keen on giving people more money if they don't report to us how they spent the money they got from this past grant cycle.
100% agreed, Tina. And there was a topic that we discussed during our previous meetings, that we had almost no information about some of these organizations and the past events. This is where we had we were wondering, should we, not go forward with the grant? Should we put it on the side? And moving forward, like you said, if we set some standards there, and Andy agreed on this one before, we will know better who does their job and who contributes to the community specifically for Bridgewater, not for, other counties or other towns.
Right. Right. So I will ask Nora to send out an all call before the new grant cycle starts to ask for anyone who's completed theirs to make sure they get the final report, and you're supposed to mail it to me or email it to me. And then say to them they won't get any more grants unless they send that to us. I'll worry about that in July, August. One other thing is the One Book One community did send me an email that they've changed the way they're spending their money, but I personally did not have an issue with what they did, so I didn't even present it to you guys because I figured it doesn't make that much of a difference.
So could you just let me know, how are they distributing this book that they're getting?
They're going to have copies at the libraries and the senior centers.
Okay. How many
And then-
copies total? Did they ever come up with a number? They were supposed to get back to us and let us
Let
know how
me
many.
see what they, because they sent me.
Yeah, they kind of like, they weren't clear exactly.
Yeah.
Phone, video.
And they said there'd be copies given out at Juneteenth. But I don't know how many, how can they give out copies at Juneteenth and not give out copies if people want a copy of it? They have to go to the library and check it out, I guess.
I can speak to that if anyone is interested.
Oh, awesome, Diane. I'm glad
yeah.
you're on.
All right, to date, we've spent the following. We spent $162.84 on used books. We've given them to some to the Juneteenth committee. We've given some to the senior center. We've given some to, we've approached all the churches in town and given at least one copy to each of the ministers or priests at the churches. We have also given them to, if there are any book clubs related to the church, the Unitarian Church. We've asked if people wanted those. And we've distributed some at the library.
Which libraries?
Bridgewater, only in Bridgewater, because we really, the grant money can only be spent in Bridgewater. So we just haven't given them to other libraries. We are at the process of thinking about getting some ebooks also, but anyway, let me go back and I'll give you the. what
So
we've
how many
done.
two copies did you get for $162.84?
They were $5 a piece, so we were able to get 30, and then we bought new ones to give out at Juneteenth because we didn't think it was quite fair to give used copies to the Juneteenth people, and that cost us for $292, and those were $16.80 a piece. We also have bought I Am Ruby Bridges, and those we're going to distribute. We're going into 6 classrooms and we're going to be reading the book and leaving the I Am Ruby Bridges in the classrooms that we are in.
Like one copy per classroom?
Yeah. And then we bought an additional 200 more used books. So to date, we've given out, let's see, at $5 a piece, probably 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 something books.
And
we
the
still-
idea is that someone reads them and then passes them on to someone else in the community.
And we have labels that have gone inside the books saying that we would like them to be passed on, and also that they are funded through the Mass Cultural Council and the Bridgewater Cultural Council. So we have those labels inside along with the flyer of activities. We have $83.84 remaining, and we're considering buying ebooks for the Bridgewater Library that then people can give out multiple copies at a time and get them on their iPad or whatever. We've also spent $87.92 on ink and labels. We spent $165 on posters and flyers.
Diane,
Mhm.
we're not allowed to supply equipment. The grant money
The grant money was for the books.
shouldn't be
No.
used for ink and stuff.
Well, it was spent on advertising, and we were using that for the labels to go into the books, and also for posters and for flyers.
Yeah, I guess if you bought a printer, that would be a problem, but you didn't buy a printer, so.
No, we didn't. We bought the ink and the label. And we also went to Happy Frog and spent it on some posters. And then we have $197 left, and we'll probably do more flyers. We did make a request for, because we have a volunteer who's going to give us information and has given us information already on ebooks and how to access ebooks. We'll be running a workshop on that. And then, so that leaves us, that was for free. That was, and so we were going to request, because we have Lisa Troy at the college is turning the book into a play, which we're going to present, we hope to present at the Unitarian Church on the 10th of June. And so she's going to be doing that as gratis. That's an in-kind contribution. She's writing the play. And then we are requesting money be taken from our book account and also from the honorarium, which is number 3 in the grant, and use that for the 2 actresses that are going to perform it, both at Juneteenth and also at the Unitarian Church.
So Diane, what's the total? Was it about 100 books that you had printed up?
We didn't print up 100 books, but we bought some used books.
Acquired.
We acquired, yes.
Okay, about 100 books, is that right?
I'd have to add that up.
You had said 90 before, and then you just added a few things onto it. I just want to make sure that we're spending all the money on what you're doing for the books.
All right, so that would be 30 copies there, 292 times 6, and you divide that by 16. That was 3, 2, there'll be 15, and then 5 copies of Ruby Bridges. So we've got 30, 45, and then $200 divided by 5, 40. So 30, 70, 95 copies of the book.
That are out.
For the adults that are out. And
Yeah.
we've got 6 copies, I'm sorry, 6 copies of I Am Ruby Bridges.
Okay, so 101 books.
Probably. I'd be
All
mad.
right, all right.
So they're out there. So,
Yeah,
but if,
well, just wanted to get an account, that's all. If somebody asks, at least we can tell them where to go to get them.
yeah, and the senior center, the last I checked, there are some there, but I can bring more over. But I just went there this week and brought some copies over there. And again, we brought them each copies, at least 1 copy to each of the churches in town. And there were, I think, a total of 11. So we gave them to each house of worship as well.
Where
And,
where do you buy the used books from?
Able,
Okay, so they're the binder, is it the publisher?
they're not the publisher. They're used books, but honest to heavens, you wouldn't know they were used. But
Yeah,
They
okay.
look really good.
Yeah,
And
no,
they-
I love that recycling idea.
Yeah,
we just thought if we could save some money on that, then we could put the money into the 2 actresses for the play. So that's what we're hoping. that
So
for.
Diane, are you still involving all of the other libraries and community groups that have been doing like the Project Hail Mary? They're all being invited to all of these things?
Yes,
Okay. They're
And
just
that-
not getting their own copies of the books.
it's just, we felt very, that we wanted to go by the way that the grant was written and use the money, spending it just in Bridgewater, because that's what it's written for. But there are, as a matter of fact, we've got another meeting next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, over in West Bridgewater, because they're going to be having their own book clubs and their own things going on there. And they wanted to know what we were doing. And so we have advertised like Buzz Bridgewater or whatever, as we advertised in all the towns, and are inviting everyone to join us, hoping that we'll get a lot of people.
Okay, sounds good. If you end up wanting to put stuff on our Facebook page, once Yvette gets that up and running,
That would be perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
But
That
feel
would-
free to promote your stuff on Bridgewater residents too.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't thought about posting on that yet. I did Buzz Bridgewater and did all the other towns that were around.
Yeah.
What else have I done?
But Bridgewater residents has a pretty wide, a wide group of people that that stuff. So that's a good source.
Appreciate the suggestion.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you have
Bridgewater.
anything else, Diane, that you wanted to add? Because we missed
No,
your public comment.
Sure that we could go ahead with the 2 actresses, and could use some of the money from the books for that, and the money that we had allotted for the honorarium for that. So it would be taking $250 from the first part of the grant, which involved books, and then, but we figure we saved a whole bunch of money by buying them used. And
Yeah,
then,
no, that's good.
and then take $250 for the honorarium for the actor, rather than the person who's going to do the workshop on accessing ebooks. So if you give us permission to do that, that would be great.
Do you guys want to vote on that? All in favor of the amended grant? Andrew?
Gonna abstain.
Okay, Svet?
I'm fine, yes.
Okay, all right, it passes.
All right,
You're all
thank you.
set, Diane. Keep us
Right.
posted.
Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, I
Okay.
appreciate it. We're having fun with it.
Okay. All right, so as far as I know, the grant distributions all went through. And now we just have to wait and see where people, the one I'm most concerned about is that African dancer, as Beth noticed, looking through all the other local councils, they all gave her $1,000. So there's 351 councils. If everyone gave her $1,000, that's a lot of money.
Yep,
We got to make sure she's really doing something.
yep.
That was the one we like, has anyone seen her? And I think it was someone from Juneteenth that had seen her
One
perform.
person, yeah, they danced at Juneteenth, I think it was 2 years ago down at the Forge.
That Stone, Stiles and Hart.
No, it wasn't Styles and Hart. It was some, I don't know, maybe Diane was. Diane, are you still with us? I guess she's off.
Nope.
It was down 2 years ago. They had I believe it was the first Juneteenth celebration. They had it down by the town DPW in a field down there. There's some kind of a forge field or a field. And she danced there, and somebody had seen her. Somebody reported back to us that they had seen her, and she was wonderful. So
Yeah, but we'll have to
good
keep
luck
an
to
eye.
her. She's getting $350,000.
I
That's
know.
350, cities and towns in Massachusetts. However, you have to be aware that a lot of the towns are doubling up. There's like 4 or 5 towns under one cultural council out in Western Mass.
Oh, okay.
It's so small, so it could be that she's really not getting as much as we think she's getting. But if she's good and people enjoy her act, then like anything
Yeah, more
else.
power to her.
Yeah. So
All right. Any other comments about anything about the grant distributions?
Nope.
Okay, so then next is to update the council contact and profiles. Beth is now on the MCC site, not on the town site. So I'll ask Josh to fix that.
Mhm.
And put out the word that we're looking for more members. And
What are we doing with those members that are not responding? Like you said, maybe we vote what to do with them, or what are we gonna do?
well, it sounds from what Josh is saying that we need to leave people who are inactive on there just to keep our numbers up.
Yes.
yeah, I agree with that. I think that if they're not going to participate and they were sworn in on a certain date and they're sworn in through 2025, then we're not going to get we can do a lot of work with the group we have right now. It's a lot easier, but it's always nice to add more people to the group.
Yeah,
But
Jessica's
meantime-
term ends in 23 and she would have to be sworn in again
Again,
and
yeah.
reappointed if she was to be, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Beth is the one who's going to take over for us because she was appointed last. All right, so I will just, nobody has any changes on the contact information, right?
Nope.
For you guys
Nope.
that are sitting here?
Nope.
Okay. Next, the most important reason for meeting tonight was to look at our current guidelines. Did
Right on.
anybody take the opportunity to pull up what our guidelines look like?
I looked at it, but
I read it.
I'm new, so.
Yeah, I read it briefly as well, but I added some things that I think that would be tantamount to the applications. And Tina, you and I and Svet had spoke about this, about when we granted money to groups, there are certain things that we should be aware of. And I think Nora Tar, the last meeting we had, brought up the fact that a lot of the school funding, I have no problem giving funding to the schools, but I think we should receive a letter from them saying that they've already applied for this type of grant through their school and the school has denied it.
Yeah.
Because
There
I don't,
is, but Andy, there is no mechanism in the schools unless there's a parent association for them to get money through the schools.
well, when a art teacher submits their budget for the year and
I
they-
don't think it works that way. Beth, you worked in the school system. Could you have applied to your Easton School District for money for some science project?
No, I don't think so.
my
I
wife,
just,
my wife was the head of the art department at East Junior High School for many years in Brockton. Every year she had to apply to the school for the amount of money she needed for her programs. And that's how it worked with her. And she was the head of the department, so the department head had to apply. So if these people, the teachers are, it's nice to see that, you know, they're applying for all these events. But it's nice to even know, because the school funding is 75% of the town budget, that they
So
apply.
Andy, can I ask that you investigate
Yeah,
if that
I'll
is a
investigate.
possibility to happen? Because as far as I know, the elementary schools and the middle school have parent groups who do fundraising and pay for art things. But as far as I know, the high school does not have a mechanism except for the music department and maybe the athletic boosters.
But
Beth, do you have any insight into any of that?
no, not really.
there must be somebody in a department that knows how much money they get per year and how much money is cut from that department per year. You just can't go willy-nilly and spend money and not know how much you've got to spend.
Well, I'm sure that the art teacher, Shirley Wood, gets a budget for paint, clay, paper, paint brushes, you know, all that sort of thing, above and beyond what a math teacher would get. But I don't know if there is another mechanism in place for her to say, we're going to have this artist come down from Boston to teach the kids how to do pressing, which is what they did this year.
Yep.
That was something above and beyond.
Right, like I'm sure there was a budget in the budget for the school play, Anything Goes, that there, I'm sure that that is in the budget, but they probably didn't get everything they needed for that, right? That's why we funded that,
Yeah, and then they also charge admission.
right?
We can look into that. I can make a few calls. I could speak to Marilee, being the town clerk. She would know how that works, and I can report back. The other thing I was concerned with is giving money to groups. It should benefit all of the town and not just one segregated group within the town.
Okay, so then you're saying you don't want to fund the senior center.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well,
I'm
they're not
saying is
getting,
The senior center benefits the town. I
right,
can go
but
down there and walk in anytime I want, but some of these groups that have events that we pay to, all right, that cater to the kids in Bridgewater, you know, you have to realize there are a lot of children in Bridgewater that don't go to the Bridgewater school systems, go to a private school. And I
the
think,
library reaches out to that group.
okay,
But I mean, you could use the argument that we're sending these people to go sing at the senior center and only people that go to the senior center are benefiting.
but remember, the senior center is open to everybody in town.
But no one who's 16 years old is going to show up there.
Well, that's their choice.
Okay, so then people could come to the other programs, I
You
suppose.
can't. You can't. I
Right, 'cause you have to be
can't go- I
Cory.
can't go without having to pay, or I can't go to the pressing and participate in the pressing.
Oh, you could. That was at the library. They had a whole art show at the library.
I
That
thought it
was
was
open
at
to the
school.
public. It was at the library.
Well, so the person from UMass Boston came down to the library? I thought they came down.
No,
to the
no,
school.
they did the production
Okay,
at the high school, and then their results were on display for a month At the
At the
library,
library.
up in the gallery. Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. Would my child who goes to Boston College High School be able to go and do the pressing at the high school with the art class? And then have it submitted to the library? I don't think it works that way.
They would have to be quarried and all that. Okay, so you're suggesting that we be very restrictive in what we give the money to. Has
No,
to be open to everyone.
open
public.
to, exactly. If it's for a child's group, it should be open for all the children to go to. For instance, we have Ryan, the performer, play at the library. Everyone can go to it. It's
Right.
open. When they have an event at the high school centered only for the high school art class, it's only for kids that go to that high school. And the money is coming from the town of Bridgewater. And you're not able to have a child who doesn't go to the high school, who goes to private school, won't be able to participate in that. That's all I'm saying.
But they
As
can at
long
least
as,
go and look at the results in the art gallery at the
no, I
library.
believe, yeah, that's fine. But we should open it and say to them, look, if we're gonna give you money for this, it should be open for the children who go from Bridgewater. That's all. I'm thinking of the children from Bridgewater. There's a lot of kids that go from Bridgewater that go to
So
alternative
you would like to see Shirley, the art teacher, do maybe a Saturday class and open it to outside, not
Well,
just
usually
the
they're-
high school.
They're in the afternoons, aren't they? The person comes down from UMass Boston was in the afternoon or early evening.
I don't know what the schedule was at
Yeah.
all. You're more privy to it than I was.
If we just ask them to include children in Bridgewater who are about, who want to participate in the art and not just the schools, because now we're catering to, it's Bridgewater Rainham. And we don't know how much money Rainham will give them. And if we're funding the whole thing, we'd like to see everyone be able to participate. That's all. I want to see everyone, a level playing field for all the people in
Does
Bridgewater.
anyone else have an opinion about that? Svet, do you have any comment?
I mean, I buy it, what Andy's saying. Pretty much he's looking for more flexibility in a way, and for them to be, I don't know, maybe advertising those events more to the wide public rather than to a specific demographic or closed circle. But maybe our Facebook page can help for that, so we can help with kind of like promoting certain events, certain activities. But I totally get it, because we give money from the town of Bridgewater, and absolutely everybody should have access, and an opportunity to be part of those events. Now, like you said, sometimes there's no mechanism. How do we track, certain funds, organizations that we have supported? They might have gotten, as you said, finances from other different sides. And then maybe those funds that we gave them could have been distributed differently if we knew that. But how do we know that in advance when we distribute the grants? This is the key question. And I think next year we'll do a better job, because again, this year we're a new committee, we're all coming together, we're getting to get to know the rules, and pretty much there's a lot of hiccups around, but I think we should be proud and happy with what we have achieved so far. And
I mean,
moving
we
forward,
can set up the rules however we want. If you look at other towns, their
Yeah.
rules are completely different. Some of them are just like 3 pages or three sentences,
Mhm.
so simple. So we can set up whatever criteria we want. The only problem will be that if we deny someone a grant and the reason they were being denied is not listed in our reasons, then they could potentially go to the MCC
yes,
and we would be forced to reconsider.
mhm, mhm.
So we
So
need to make sure. Go ahead.
Can I
Beth.
ask a question? So that this art project that you're talking about that was done, do we know that it was not done during the school day?
I do not know. Andy
Because
seems to think it was done in the evening.
If it's definitely not done during the school day, then yes, it makes sense to open it up to all the children of Bridgewater. But if it was done during the school day, that logistically isn't
Yes.
realistic.
I think the verbiage would sound better if we if we just put on the application that if you're applying for this grant, please be advised that it's for the benefit of the children of Bridgewater. That's all. If a child decides they don't want to do it, if it's during the day and they can't leave their school, for instance, a lot of kids that go to charter schools from Bridgewater, low-income people, I just want it put out there that, you know, the whole idea of the cultural council is to put everybody on a level playing field and have a lot of grants benefit the town of Bridgewater and not just a specific group. That's all. I don't want to be pigeonholed into thinking, oh, well, you know, you give this money to this art class that they all drove into Boston and they came back in the buses, and my child who doesn't go to a school.
I don't think they
You know?
did that because we didn't give them the money for the bus. They
Well,
modified the program.
yeah, I don't know what they did, you know, because
Yeah.
Raynham could have given them the money. I don't know.
The Rainham did not give them money.
Okay, so the only money they got was from us?
Yes.
Well, and that's another thing. Did they apply for money for Raynham? I mean, these are the things that when we're dealing with the school, we have to make sure that if they're going to apply for a grant from us, they should have it in writing that they've applied to both Bridgewater and Raynham. So we have an accounting of, you know, not. being-
So,
Yeah.
so Rainham did give Bridgewater Rainham
Yeah.
$2,500 towards the musical. We did not give them that much, and Rainham only gets $8,900.
How much did
We
we
gave
give?
them more than half of their budget for the play. No, not half, sorry.
How much did we give total to the schools for their projects?
We only had three grants.
Okay,
That was
And-
Carrie Campbell,
yeah,
the dancer, the preschool,
music, yep, preschool music, yeah.
the musical, and then the art show.
Okay, so in total, what was that? Do you know what the amounts were?
I have the list here that says the musical was $1,250.
Yep,
Carrie Campbell was 1,500.
yep,
I'm looking for where the,
pressing matters.
1,000.
Okay, so
oh, yes.
we're close to $4,000 then. See, this is, you know, it's one hand washes the other. You know, if Raynham's gonna give them 2,000, I think we should at least match that for their program.
Well, we didn't.
It's-
We only gave them
No,
1,000. right?
No, I understand. It's our first year, but what I'm saying
Right.
is we should have.
But you know what?
matched-
We don't know. This came out after the fact. We
Okay.
don't know what the other towns are giving.
No, I know that, but it's nice to know if they're applying for a grant for the school, that they are applying for the same grant through Raynham as well as Bridgewater, because it's a regional school.
I think
Yes,
what will benefit us, Andy and Tina, and Beth. I think in the future, those applications that we're reviewing on Smart Simple, whoever is designing that, if we can kind of like massage that design a little bit and require a little more information, let's say from past events, you know, even if it would be like a PDF file with some information. What did you do last year with the money we gave you? Show me some pictures maybe, or show us some
So
facts.
technically, they're supposed to do that
Yeah.
independent of their new grant request.
Yes, I
They're
got
supposed to send us a final report before they even apply for the grants.
Yes, so I think this is why this year there would be, you know, some discrepancies, if I can put it this way, here and there, because we didn't really have enough information for some of these programs, and we, like Andy, had to do some additional research. I'm sure you did some. I tried to find some information too, but it's kind of like, you know, shooting in the dark. It was a bit challenging. So that's where I see we have the power. We can maybe change the design of how they apply for the grants and the information that we require.
Yeah, and we are welcome to, we have to as a group agree, but we are welcome to contact whoever's applying and get more details.
Mhm.
But we as a group have to agree to contact them.
Yep.
That would be very helpful. I
Yeah,
think.
so we can do that during the grant review process.
Exactly. And this will it will help here if we have more members, obviously, and everybody, pulls their weight in, and we split, let's say, certain amount of work that needs to be done. But I felt like that some of these applications, they were a bit vague. I didn't have enough information to make a 100% clear decision based on what they've done in the past, because there was simply not enough information.
Okay. All right. Well, over the next couple of weeks, everyone should take a look at our current local priorities and make some edits. And I think we can email without discussion, because this whole open meeting thing, suggestions that you would like to make, and then we just set up a meeting before
Yep.
the final posting of our priorities and make a final decision.
Yes, sounds great.
All right, so other things that I would like to propose that we put into that would be that we need a definite venue. Because remember, we had people applying, like the dancer. Where are you dancing?
They didn't.
When are you
specify.
dancing?
Yes, yeah.
So I was noticing that it says in our current guidelines that they have to include evidence of ability to complete the project. And one of the things that are listed are resume of the artist, event already scheduled and or venue booked, or steps taken to. So you're saying instead of that, we should say they definitely have to have one?
Oh, what we can do is have them let us know where they played last cycle. For instance, the dancer, if she played uptown during the 4th of July event, she should be able
Well,
to.
no,
put
I
that down.
would rather, because the final report is something separate. What I would like them to do is to tell me, I'm going to be dancing at Juneteenth, or I'm going to be dancing at the senior center, or a contact person. I mean, too much of it's just like, when is that brass band playing? They got money from everybody too, by
4th
the
of
way.
July.
Okay,
That was the 4th of July event. And they put that down on the application.
anyway, so we can massage this to be more specific at what we're looking for in the grant things, or we can just call them ourselves after they've applied to get more details and
Exactly.
then come back.
Exactly. Like you said, just get some more information from them so we can make
Yeah.
the best informed decisions in the future.
Right. The other thing we need to discuss is whether or not we are going to limit people to 3 years in a row.
How many years is it now, Tina?
It depends. We can choose to do what we want. Some of the other towns will only give grant money for 3 years and then they're on their own to go find money elsewhere.
I think we spoke briefly in the past about it, and
I'm trying to see if that's in our current list of
Yeah,
things.
it actually says funding to applicants may be reduced or eliminated after an applicant has received funding for 3 consecutive years. So it doesn't say it definitely, it says may be reduced or eliminated.
Where did you find that in the, I'm just looking at it here.
Well, I photocopied the materials some of the materials that you had given me, Tina. So
Okay.
you had printed out the Bridgewater. It's on the first page of what you printed out, kind of like in the second to last paragraph.
Okay. I see it there. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, do you guys agree that that should be left in there?
Yeah, I don't see why it shouldn't be left in there. It doesn't mean we have to go by that, but I mean, it's, if some of the grants are being used frivolously and it's the same people every year and it allows other people not to get grants, then it's a problem. You know, I mean, we have a
Well, I
lot.
mean, we can just reduce the amount we give.
Exactly.
yes, I agree with both of you guys. I think that also benefits us because some of these events and organizations, they become part of the culture of the community, you know, like having the same event every year sometimes brings some, excitement in the community, and they know that it will be the same event next year and next year and next year. Obviously, are we big enough also to see if we have enough fish in the pond? Maybe there's smaller fish that wants to swim as well and they want to eat too.
Yep.
But at the same time, we want to have a backbone of events that are happening hopefully every year, and we support them and they contribute to the community. But I agree with Andy too. You know, we should definitely be open to get some new players to show what they can do, because maybe some of these organizations and events, they are worn out after a while.
Yeah,
Maybe they don't have enough exposure, as Andy brought in the past. Okay, you're creating an event, but what will be the impact? Show us some statistics, some data, but they didn't have it. So I believe in the balance. So let's keep it there probably, but to be open for, to think outside the box.
and with that, I think Tina, you hit the nail on the head when you said that with the advent of the new Facebook, we'll bring out a lot of people that had no idea about the cultural council, would like to apply for something in the town. Obviously, there are groups that we get applications for, and I will use the Philharmonic in Plymouth as an example. They send out applications to every town on the South Shore looking for $5,000 or $4,000, but yet if there's no benefit to the people of Bridgewater when you have to go down to Plymouth and pay $50 for a seat at the Philharmonic after we've given them X amount of dollars. So it would be nice to have a lot more of a smaller groups apply in the town, from the town, that benefit the town than a lot of these larger groups that are outside the town.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the priority, the first one is individual or groups that reside in the town of Bridgewater.
Yeah. No, I know
Yeah.
that,
And
but
that's our number one.
Yeah.
So,
but we still had to have conversation about all these other groups that just like.
I
come
know.
in.
Well,
I
you
mean-
know, it doesn't cost anything to apply.
No, but.
So
there
that's why
again-
people apply to every council in the hopes that
what
somebody
really-
gives them some money.
And Beth, you might want to be privy to this. One of the things that floored me is the amount of people that never come in to get their money.
Really?
We had like $3,000 worth of money that we had to,
Chase them down.
yeah, we had to chase
Wow.
them down, or else it would have been, and two of the people in the group are Bridgewater people that everybody knows,
Wow.
so.
So the problem was they got an email saying they got their money, but they didn't read all the fine print of all the paperwork they had to submit to get their money. But once they submitted the paperwork, they got their money. It was so easy. But anyway. All right, any other comments about the local priorities? So everyone make a note to yourselves in the next month or two to look through what our current local priorities are. We will set a date. I think we have to do it by the end of August. It's not that, I can't remember the timeline. I
Do you
did print out what the
Do you want
timeline
to
is.
meet again after we find out how much money we're getting for next year in July?
No, I don't think it makes any difference. Do you?
No, but it'd be nice to get together again after we shoot each other emails about our thoughts on the application process and addendums and things like that. So,
Hey guys, do you know when they will eventually, I was reading the news today, the US government is no longer requiring basically vaccinations for travelers entering the United States. So, to that extension, I was thinking, when are we going to be able to meet in person in the town? Like, is that?
Oh my God, I was at a Parks and Rec by Zoom. They've been meeting in person and all of a sudden they're told they have to do by Zoom. So I chimed in last night and they were asking the town manager, Mike Dutton, why we can't meet in person. And apparently the powers that be, not the town of Bridgewater, but the state is saying that they need to have the accessibility of a Zoom hybrid in-person meeting. The town doesn't have the ability to do that yet. So
Wow,
that's why they're just saying everyone has to do Zoom.
I see.
I think the fact that they either that or they don't want to staff the town hall at night, and the amount of people that would be coming to a meeting. Say you get 100 people that want to come to the cultural council meeting.
Yeah.
They haven't got the room for that. And I'd love to meet in person. In fact, it would be even easier. The 4 or 5 of us all meet in one spot somewhere and just have one computer and just have it a Zoom meeting, but
Well, apparently yeah, for some reason.
So
or
are
other-
we saying it's not, it's gonna stay Zoom for the foreseeable future?
Yeah.
there's not that many meetings
And you know
anyways.
what, Beth? Mike Dutton said that there are people who've been appointed to committees that can't do it unless it's Zoom. They would have to resign if it wasn't Zoom.
There
Wow.
are?
That's the
That's what
culture.
he said.
That's
That's
the new-
what Mike Dutton
That's the
said.
new culture.
Yeah.
I know Beth is the one who said she doesn't want to do Zoom.
Pretty soon,
I-
town meetings will be like that.
Probably. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we
so we
continue.
don't have a choice.
We
We
continue.
don't right now. They're gonna try to come up with a way to do a hybrid. But they don't have it in place yet.
Okay,
So Mike Dutton's the one to ask that question too. All right, so by September 1st, we need to have our guidelines finalized and posted on MCC.
Yep.
So if we meet like the end of July, we'll know what our funding is. We can finalize our priorities, the local priorities and guidelines, and then we can get that posted. Now, at that point, Andy, you should be able to meet with Lori to do the financial part on the MCC. I did that for us at the beginning of this year.
That's fine.
It's easy. Lori's very helpful.
And we'll apply that to the MCC site for Bridgewater.
We have to go on to the site and do the financial report
Mhm.
to talk about how much money was left over. I mean, we've spent it all.
Yeah,
Ours should be easy. There wasn't a lot of, we already accounted for the leftover money. So it should be a very easy report, but that has to be done by September 1st, I believe as well. All right. Anything else? Additional items for discussion? Anybody? Oh, I forgot. The town report requires a final report. I'll take care of that. So we have to report who applied, who was accepted or denied and how much they got, and then just a brief synopsis of what the year was like.
okay.
Do you guys want to see it before I submit it, or you trust that I'll cover everything?
If you need any help with it, let us know, Tina. Anything we can
Okay.
chime
Yeah.
in to help.
I mean, I ended up doing them for the 21 and 22 years. Did you know Mary Lee wanted me to sign my name to those? I'm like, no, I was
Yeah,
not
I-
involved in those decisions.
I
I
know, that's
remember-
crazy.
I remember
Yeah.
that email there where she said that there's no reports for the past years, and I was like,
Yeah, I
wow.
took care of making the reports, but I'm like, I'm not signing my name to these things because I had nothing to do with the decisions that were made. And I don't know if that final report, town report has ever been published. Has anyone seen it?
No,
I have
They were
to check.
doing a combined COVID
Yeah.
Yeah.
one, but anyway. All right. So any additional items? Anybody?
nope.
no,
All right, we are adjourning at 7:05.
All right.
Woo-hoo!
That was a great timing. 1 hour. Perfect.
That's
I
it.
know.
That's all we need. With four
All right,
people.
oh, wait. We can't adjourn. Shoot, we didn't set a date.
for what?
For the-
Someone tell us that we're not adjourned.
We're not adjourned.
Okay. We need to meet the end of July. When we have the budget amount and we'll go through the guidelines. So everyone pull out your calendars. Anybody traveling?
Even from travel, I could still go on Zoom.
Yeah, see, Beth, the advantage, you can be in New York and still do this meeting.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Anytime is fine.
How about July 24th?
That's a Monday. I do yoga, sorry.
How about July 25th?
Does that work for you, Beth?
Yeah.
Fet?
Sounds good.
Okay,
6 p.m.?
all right. So does 6 p.m. work for everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome.
If they can just send it a little bit earlier, just maybe a reminder, like a week before, something like that.
I'll make sure to do that. All right, so we are going to then meet on the 25th at 6.
Yep.
And feel free to email ideas. No decisions can be discussed in those emails. That has to all be done with an open meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, but we can just send.
You can throw out ideas, but no decisions.
And then pretty much, as far as follow-up from what we discussed today on certain, new business, I will follow up with you guys when I get some information from Josh as far as the Facebook page.
Good.
Super. Okay, very good. All right, have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Have a
Nice
good
meeting
night.
all of you.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
now.
Okay, bye.